everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? Just when you thought it was safe to go back into the water. Oh. Now there's something called a barge apocalypse. I kid you not. It's unfolding right now, and that you might, it's disturbing. It really is. There's a problem with massive global implications that very few people saw coming, because barges don't exactly attract a lot of attention. But they are critical, efficient transportation of crops, of coal. And when the barges stop running, guess what? The world is in serious trouble. So barges are far more important to the world economy than you might imagine. Imagine this, okay? About 60% of the grain and 54% of the soybeans for the U.S. are exported and moved via barges. Yeah. Barges touch more than a third of America's exported coal. 92% of the nation's agricultural output comes from the Mississippi River Basin. One 15-barge tow can carry the same amount of freight as two 108-car freight trains, or a whopping 1,050 semi-trucks. All right. Now, with just 1 gallon of fuel, a barge can chug alone for 616 ton miles, and that is compared to 478 ton miles for rail and 150 ton miles for trucks. So in other words, barges are by far the more fuel efficient, cost effective way to move goods. This is why, of course, many of the world's largest cities are located on rivers. And it's all about trade, and it's all about transportation. But when geoengineering is being actively pursued to weaponize the weather and cause droughts, the rivers run dry and barges run aground. This turns the river into a giant logjam of stuck barges. And that's exactly what's beginning to happen with the Mississippi River. So low water levels and dredging shuttered barge traffic heading north and south on the Mississippi. At one point, more than 100 towboats and 2,000 barges were stuck, waiting. And traffic is limited to one way. So that's like turning a major interstate into a single lane construction zone where vehicles have to take turns using the only available lane. Naturally, traffic is going to be backed up for miles. So because the barges can barely function along the Mississippi, coal is not getting transported in the volumes necessary to meet coal export demand and supply goal to European countries that are facing a freezing winter without energy. And as a result, Poland has just waived air quality restrictions. Yikes, I know. And it's allowing all the Poland residents to literally burn trash in their home stoves to stay warm through the coming winter. I know. And from what I'm understanding, it's so bad that you can actually smell trash burning every single day, which is completely like a new thing, and rarely can you smell like regular fuel it's scary to think that what happens when it really gets cold, what you're going to be smelling and seeing and experiencing. Yeah. In Poland, some households are actually hoarding their garbage because that's how they're replacing their coal. Yeah. So that's a new one. And I know people who gather up like huge supplies of gold and silver, ammunition, medical supplies, and so on and so forth, right? But even the most aggressive preppers in the US are not hoarding trash. They're not. And that appears to be a green European thing. And it makes us wonder how much trash a person will need to gather to be considered full Greta. I mean, okay. The lack of barge transportation is also causing U.S. farmers to dump literally hills of beans on the banks of the Mississippi, awaiting barge availability to complete the transport. No joke. As beans and other crops sit outside, they begin to grow. It's aflatoxins. It's extremely toxic, liver-damaging chemicals that are produced by agricultural molds. They are the #1 killer of livestock in America. They cause liver damage and death in humans as well. You know, for each day that barges do not run, more crops are being ruined. It's engineered famine, all by design. All right. If you thought that food inflation was getting bad, vegetable prices are now up 40% year over year. Okay, I've said this before. Okay, what's coming in 2023 will make 2022 look like a discount sale. It'll be like the clearance rack at your favorite store. And for those who don't realize yet that geoengineering, weather control is a modern reality, you're way behind the curve. Geoengineering technologies were funded by the U.S. Congress for the 2022 budget. Those efforts cover weather control. They cover global dimming, technologies that were derided as conspiracy theories just a few years ago. Tinfoil hat, straighten it up. And now they're being covered by mainstream media. CNBC, CNN. In an article by CNBC that was originally titled, Where is Solar... Oh, sorry, not where. What is solar geoengineering? Sunlight reflection risks and benefits, but was stealthily edited to remove the word geoengineering. And CNBC explained it away that the White House Office of Science and Technology Policy is coordinating a 5-year research plan to study ways of modifying the amount of sunlight that reaches the Earth in order to temporarily temper the effects of global warming. Yeah. And the article openly discussed geoengineering technologies and sunlight dimming. And it claimed that this must be done to stop global warming. Now, of course, global warming, some people, not all, but some, it's considered junk science fraud. And the real purpose of blocking the sun is to block photosynthesis that produces food crops to feed the world. We learned this in 8th grade biology, photosynthesis. The three inputs of photosynthesis required for all forests, crops, grasslands, ocean plants, etc. Sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. The depopulation globalists, right on, are at war with all three of these in their attempts to annihilate the human race, depopulate the planet. And here's how they're going to do it. Sunlight, right? Geoengineering or global dimming. Efforts as a stratospheric aerosol injection. Carbon dioxide. Carbon sequestration. Projects the altar. The atmosphere and strip CO2 from the air. Water is geoengineering and weather control to create droughts and massive crop failure. Now, CNBC, they also explained that there are several kinds of sunlight reflection technology being considered, including stratospheric aerosol injection, marine cloud brightening, and cirrus, CIRRUS, cloud thinning. Now, just spreading pollution in the skies. Okay, they literally spray sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere. Think of how scary that is. Okay, you talk about chemtrails. Okay, so, which is the same exact, the chemical that in the 1980s, okay, if you remember that, was blamed for the entire corporate media for causing acid rain and killing forests. Do you remember that? Yeah. Now they promote this pollutant and claim that it's good for the planet. So we literally have a green movement, right, that is pro-pollution and claims that its pollution of the skies will save the planet from the sun. Come again? Yeah. Because the sun is bad, they said. And they insist that carbon is bad as well. Even though food crops are made of carbon, which plants accumulate from CO2 from the air. Yeah. And the entire climate change, global warming movement is actually anti-human death cult, as far as I'm concerned. It's quack science pushers, life haters, man, who are actively seeking to annihilate nearly the entire human population. And to achieve this, they have to starve us out. Seriously. They have to starve us out. And to achieve starvation, they have to dismantle the infrastructure of food production, which depends on what? Rainfall, natural gas, fertilizer, diesel fuel to power tractors and whatnot, trains. They're also at war with ranching operations and meat production in general, even claiming that nitrogen is suddenly a pollutant. So none of this is good. None of this is going to end well. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe. You stay positive. You keep prepping. And as always, fear less. Ciao.